welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma, if you haven't met me before, and I'm an artist and I live and work up here in what's called the Lake District, which is the northwest of England here in the UK. It's a phenomenally beautiful place and I'm very privileged to live here and work here. And I welcome you to my little corner. This is my living room. I know a lot of YouTubers have very special places that they do their videoing from, but I've kind of created myself a little nook in my living room and I welcome you to it. It's lovely to be here with you. There's so much to talk about, isn't there? There's so much going on in the world and in our lives, and I so appreciate having you here with me. And I'm grateful very much for your comments last week. We had a really good chat about ironing and washing and the simple things in life that really matter, you know, thinking about what in our lives we can be grateful for. And I just really appreciate that you like my little video. I said to my husband, I'm going to put up a video about me hanging out the washing. How do you think that'll go down? But the idea was, whatever I do here, I want it to be something that is relaxing and gentle, and maybe there's a bit of inspiration in there. You know, I was quite inspired. Somebody said, lovely Anne said, she loves to iron to music and she finds it very relaxing, and I thought that's a really interesting thing. I've never thought of it like that. I've always kind of had it down as a chore and something to avoid if at all possible. And I actually do my washing in such a way that I don't do any ironing, but maybe I'm missing out on something, you see. Somebody else has got a joy there. I actually take my washing out of the machine. I'm going to tell you my hot tip. If you don't want to iron, is I take my washing out of the machine the minute it's finished spinning and I hang it, so I delay the spin. This is really intricate. I delay the spin and then I hang the washing on, like on the back of a chair or something like that, and it just hangs there, and somehow the creases kind of fall out sufficiently. But I do appreciate the pleasure in ironing. I have ironed shirts and things and thought this is really lovely because you get it really just crisp and how you want it. So there we go. It's all about doing what brings you joy, and that's going to be different for all of us, isn't it? So I'm going to just show you something. I'm going to just pick this up. This is, I showed you this a few weeks ago. It's my Spring Fling catalogue. Now, Spring Fling is an open studios event that's held up in Dumfries and in Galloway, and it's really interesting to go up there. It's just kind of the lower end of Scotland that kind of looks across the water to Cumbria, and we look across the water to them. It's a really beautiful place if you haven't been. Yes, there are busy parts like anywhere. We actually went up on the busy roads in order to get to where we wanted to go. We went the fast way. But if you take time to step off the busy roads and you go down the little country roads, it's a really beautiful place. It's very unspoiled. There's very little traffic there, and I'm not telling you this so you all rush up there. But it's just, you know, when you find somewhere that just brings you joy, again, it's like these things that you just celebrate and appreciate. And having read, I'll just show you this book again. This was my book that I read on my holiday on Arran, and it's called, sorry, I'll try and turn it that way. It's called Native, and it was a book from 2020. I hadn't come across it, and I so enjoyed reading it. It was very poetic, all about the land that is known as Galloway, which as part of Dumfries and Galloway, as it's linked together now for sort of government purposes. And that's one of the things in the book, is really seeing that it is a separate area and it is separate land. But I went up with an eye for looking at what he mentions in the book. I was looking at how the land was used and what humans were doing on the land. And I looked at the plantations, and I looked at the kind of animals that were on the land, and I kind of looked at the lie of the land. It really kind of opened my eyes and made me look more at what was around me, because I've driven through the area quite a few times. We actually went further into it this year. We went further into Galloway. We went across, if anybody knows, Kirkcudbright, which is a fantastic word. I'm not quite sure whether it's a Norse word or a Gaelic word, I don't know, but it's a fantastic word. But it's, again, a lovely little quiet town full of artists. So I had a lovely time, and I will show you the artist we went to. It was a rainy day. By the time we got up there, it was pouring with rain. We had our lunch at the side of the road in our car, tucked in by the hedge, and watched the raindrops come down. And we went to see three artists in a village hall in a little village, and that was such a joy. One of the ladies I have seen before on many occasions because I really love her work. Absolutely beautiful stuff that she does, and she does knitting as well as artwork, but she writes journals. She journals about every walk she does, and she does drawings and puts pictures of her artwork into these journals, and it's just a revelation to see how other artists work. It was really valuable. The other lady was called Gail Kelly, and she does print on what does she print onto? She prints onto Irish linen. So Suzanne Stewart Davis, who's the first artist I was talking about, she lives down in Cumbria now. She used to live up in Dumfries and Galloway. And the second artist that was there was called Gail Kelly, and she comes from County Down in Ireland, and they have this thing called a neighbour scheme, which I think is really lovely. So they bring in artists from other areas who are neighbouring, and she was wonderful. She prints onto this Irish linen, and I mean, you can't describe it really. I can't tell you about it enough to make you think it's lovely. I would advise you, go and, if you're interested, go and look at their websites, and I'll leave links below. Very different work, but very much again about the landscape. But her stories were so fascinating. She was talking about how her family was involved in the making of the Irish linen. Her sort of near relatives, older relatives, who were literally the people who made the Irish linen, who worked in the mill making it, and the women doing the finishing, and I think the men did the weaving. It was some kind of split between the men and the women. You know, kind of dangerous, dirty jobs really, but producing this exquisite cloth. So, and then she had this fantastic, what was it? A printing press, that's the word. Sometimes my words just go. A printing press, and it was mammoth. She showed that she didn't have it there, obviously, because it was so mammoth. It was a huge Victorian printing press. I mean, it took up like half a room, and she prints with this incredible monolith of a machine. And she'd bought it from somebody in Macclesfield, and she'd had it transported all the way across to Ireland. It had to be taken to bits and reassembled in Ireland, and it was just, oh, I don't know, and it was just lovely to see. This is the joy of going, if you have any open studios near you, I so advise going to see them, because especially if you see somebody in their studio, but you get to talk to people who are making art, and their stories are just fascinating. So the other lady I went to see was in Kirkcudbright itself, and she was a textile artist, funnily enough, and I had a lovely time with her, but her husband, her partner, was a photographer, so we got to see his work as well, and I had such a lovely time looking at all of her stuff. She was very generous in what she was showing, and it was just an absolute joy to chat to her and realise we had such a lot in common. But it was very interesting coming home. I've spent this last week or so, was it about a week since we went, something like that? In fact, I think I'm videoing this on the day a week later. Within the space of that week, I have kind of changed what I'm doing again, and I've decided I needed to buy a table, and I will show you this. I've put it in my lounge, and it's just over here. I decided that drawing was really important to me, and making things with paper and printing was really important to me, and in my new little studio I can't really do that because it's full of textiles and sewing machines, and I have done work in there, but it was such a struggle. I was fighting to move things around, get some space that I could actually lay stuff out. So I've decided I'm going to take over the lounge upstairs. Our lounge is upstairs because we have a fabulous view. And so within a week I ordered this table online. Incredible, it came like almost the next day. I think it came the next day. This guy from Birmingham, bless him, set off at 4:30 in the morning to come and deliver me my table. And he rang to see where I lived, and I was in my pyjamas answering the phone. That's how early he came. But I got my Allen key out. My husband's not around this week, and I got my Allen key out from the kit that they give you, and I assembled this table, and I'm going to show you how I've set up some space for me. Now, obviously I already have space, I have a room to myself, but I'm shifting into this place where I'm thinking, I am an artist, this is what I do. Having been to this other artist's space and thought, she's got all of this stuff and she's got it all out, because I've moved down from a big studio where I had everything out, I felt I had to just be in this small space. I was occupying this very small space. And I almost think this is a metaphor for life, isn't it? We think we have to occupy this space that we can't break out of. And I think actually daring to go up to Spring Fling, daring to go up, daring to meet these people, taking that risk. It was, as I say, it wasn't a very nice day, but I took the risk of going because I felt it was important, and I just didn't realise exactly how important it was. So it was really, I followed this little breadcrumb trail that said go to Spring Fling, and I had a lovely time, but what I got out of it was something that's going to change how I work. And literally, physically, it's a table for me to do drawing at. So already my habits have been changing since I set the table up, you know, and I'm going to show you how I set it all up and what it looks like, because I think that would be nice to see. It's already changed what I'm doing. I now have somewhere where I have drawing materials out ready, and I literally go past the door and think, oh, I'm just going to pop in and do a little bit on that sketch. Or I've got some work that I did on my holidays, my little sketchbook, and I'm looking at the drawings I did for that and finishing them off, because there were some that I knew I wanted to work with when I got home. So it's just been this incredible thing, and in a very short space of time, I think it's also affecting how I think about myself as a person. I've never really thought, oh, I've got this job, I'm an artist. And I think in some ways that is my job. And I've always just thought, oh, art is what everybody can do, and that's lovely, and, you know. But actually, this is my job, and this is what I'm doing. And so therefore it's important that I earn some money from it as well. And I take it seriously, if you like. I'm taking myself seriously. I'm giving myself the space and the proper time and space to do what I'm doing. But I think that can apply to you, whether it's your job or not, okay? I'm very keen to encourage people to get creative, which is why, if you haven't looked already, I invite you to my Substack, where I do my creative videos, which are all about encouraging people to take some time out to do something relaxing, to do something for themselves, to make space. So my video this month, actually, that I've just put up there is all about drawing, and I had such a lovely time making it because I got to draw, but it's all about saying, well, you could try this, you could do that, and just showing people that's what you can do, and making space for yourself. So that's on this month, and then I do also do a little monthly newsletter that you get for free. So the videos I charge for, goodness me, what a thought. And I'm also in the process of trying to monetize my YouTube channel, which is quite an interesting thing to do, because I have to prove who I am to them in order to get my money. And I realised, you know, I don't have a driving licence or a passport or anything with my photograph on. So that's been another shift this week, is actually taking myself seriously and allowing myself to go through the process. Finding out how to do these things is quite challenging, isn't it, sometimes? So it's been quite a week, and it all stemmed from going out and looking at other people, having a trip out that was all about me. I shared it with my husband. Yes, we had a lovely day out together, so that was an extra bonus. And I am just looking around me at my life and thinking at seeing what else I can change that means I'm making the most of myself, my talents, my gifts, who I am, what I am, and, you know, what's around me. What can I change that will make a difference? And maybe it'll make a difference here as well, because, you know, what I'm sharing here might inspire you to do something differently, or try something that you've not done before, or just, you know, and the voice in your head's going, oh no, I wouldn't do that, no, just, you know, don't bother doing that. I'm listening out for that voice now, and I'm going, actually, just a minute, I think that might be fear talking. I'm going to just see what else I could do here that will actually make this thing happen for me. So I'm saying yes to a lot of things that perhaps a year or so ago I'd have been going, oh, well, I don't think I'll bother doing that. So try saying yes. It's amazing. It changes your life. Do something different. Even if it's something small in your daily routine, just do something differently. It's amazing how it breaks and disrupts your normal habits, can just bring you something new in. So I'm going to stop talking here because that's quite enough, and I'm going to show you my beautiful new drawing area, which I'm absolutely loving. It means I now can appreciate my sewing space and go and do my sewing and work in there. I'm also going to allow myself to lay all my work out on the lounge floor if I want to. What an outrageous thought. So I'm so grateful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you've listened this far, that's amazing. And I'm going to show you something now, and I will see you here next week, and we'll see what's going to happen. I wish you a very beautiful, creative week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.